Well, I'm just going to say it again. I said it earlier in the live stream, and I'm going to say it in this video. It's a bad day to be a Bitcoin bear. We're up 3% off of the lows. We're still down a couple percent on the day, but pretty much that makes this the best day we've seen in, I don't know, probably a couple of weeks. And let's just say it's not over until it's over, and it's about to get even bigger than people expect. Liquidity, absolutely, if we dive right into it, is now just to the upside. Bitcoin's trading below all of the liquidity. Every long has basically already been liquidated. Will there be more longs to get liquidated? Sure. Are there longs piling in right now to get liquidated? Yes. But no major liquidity left to the downside exists. As the top commenter even says on this, when the books look like this, the next move is usually violent. There's going to be a bounce at some point. Now, it's very likely that that bounce is more likely than not a dead cat bounce. I think that the next time we come up to 100K, it's very likely, at least the first major test of it, it's going to be a rejection. The bulls are going to get dumped. The bulls are going to get creamed. But that's the name of the game. And what else can we expect? As Jesse on X actually highlights, he feels silly posting this. He doesn't know why we keep going lower. Really, truly, nobody knows why we're going this low, this consistently day in, day out, without any signs of a real bounce. Today potentially being the first actual sign of a bounce that we've seen in a couple of weeks. But if you do zoom out, the setup is incredibly bullish. We're going from a tightening cycle into an easing cycle. Rate cut odds have flipped back in favor of a cut in December. I believe yesterday they dropped down like 30-something%. Now they're back up to 70%. So it is really a whipsaw. It is really like back and forth. We see midterms next year. We're going to be getting a new Fed chair as well. The U.S. has already started making its first moves with quantitative tightening ending. Japan is already beginning quantitative easing. And there's rumors of a balance sheet expansion next year and potentially our third cut next month. The fundamentals with crypto legislation adoption are great. The 4-year cycle is dead. People have mixed opinions about this. I think the 4-year cycle is dead. I've been saying this for a while. Specifically, I think I had my first change in opinion of that, where I believe that was maybe the case when we saw back in early 2024 the Bitcoin spot ETFs get approved, and we saw a new Bitcoin all-time high before the halving, which we'd never seen before. He ends this tweet by saying all-time highs in 2026. Is that too bullish? Potentially. But as we all know, it's potentially not bullish enough. Speechless, according to Psychedelic on X, the current 1-week RSI has just tagged oversold levels that we have only seen before in the 2018 bear market bottom, the COVID bottom, and the 2022 local bottom at about 18,000. And Bitcoin is still in higher time frame structure at about 82,000, which is crazy, right? The lowest levels on the 1-week RSI that we've seen since every catastrophe of the last basically decade in the Bitcoin market. The only time the RSI has reached these lows has been at the very end of a full-blown bear market and the black swan of 2020. There is no precedent for this. We're seeing something totally new, and that's why everybody's caught off guard. October 10th was the weirdest day where we saw alts go down 70-80% in minutes, and we've not seen anything like that since, and we've never seen something like that, honestly, in these more mature markets ever, specifically with what happened in crypto. There is no precedent. What we're seeing is new, and I think people are struggling to change their mindset. I don't think we need to fit it into a box of like, okay, this has to be the end of a 4-year cycle necessarily, or this is, all of these different reasons. I think that truly things are just different now, and things are never different until they are. And it sounds dumb, but really we're living through right now, and that's why all the confusion exists, I think. That's why we're seeing all of this conflicting data where the technicals are and all the indicators are telling us so many different things. Actually, they're only telling us one thing, really, that the that the bull market is not over. We haven't topped is what they're telling us. But our eyes are telling us that the bear market is here. Our eyes are telling us that the bulls are cooked. But that's exactly what happens when we're actually fundamentally shifting into something we've never seen before, which is what we are, in my opinion, right now. The peak bear market lows on the RSI within 6 weeks from its 126K top, just insane. Just absolutely insane price data. And we also see as well, I talked about this on the live stream today, if we dead cat from here, he's pretty sure 90% of crypto Twitter is going to fall for the dead cat bounce, including himself, he's saying. People are going to get very excited if we see a dead cat bounce, which we will, I think. We're going to see a bounce at some point. And people are going to assume that that's the absolute bottom. And it could be. It could be a real bounce. I think it's more likely that we get rejected our first attempt at 100K. But it could be an actual real bounce. I don't think that that's the highest chance, but I think a lot of people are going to believe that it is. And maybe by, things like this, sentiment like this, maybe actually there's too much despair and depression where people actually don't think that. Carl says, I saw my Bitcoin crash from 20K to 3K, 69 to 16. Nice. And from 126 to 80K, myself as well. I've experienced all of those personally. And every single one of them was an opportunity to buy. Just relax. And Jacob King, who's one of my favorite bear posters now, says Bitcoin drops a few more percent. MicroStrategy will be underwater in its entire Bitcoin bet. Forced liquidations will kick in and drive Bitcoin down towards 10K and lower. This is this is the level of fear and FUD that I love seeing when we see these drops. There has never been a time where Bitcoin has dropped like this, and we have not seen this type of tweet, this type of post. It always happens, and it's always a good sign. So remember when Saylor was urging people to take out double mortgages and sell kidneys? No one should be surprised what's happening. We all know he was the number one loser in the entire 2000s .com bubble, committed countless acts of fraud, and is a known liar. I guess I don't have much to say about that part of it because he did get absolutely banged in the .com bubble. But more so, I think it's funny that just his tweets in general. Bitcoin specifically today, as you can see on a daily, we're having our first signs of a bounce. Still so early. There's this range of about 77 to 80K, which was the lows back here in the summer or early spring. And we have bounced exactly at the top of this. RSI, MACD on a weekly chart are just so oversold. It's likely that Bitcoin's going to have a bounce. The only question is, will the bounce actually take us back above 100K? Or if we get to 100K, is that exactly where we're going to get rejected, which is also where the 50-week moving average will be curving down to, depending on when we get there. But if it's a violent, quick bounce up, I mean, right now it's sitting at 103K. It's shifted down now. It's very quickly going to be heading to 100K and lower. But that's really the important story of the day. Stocks are fantastic, up 2% roughly today. S&P 500, NASDAQ, and Dow Jones all up roughly right now, at least about 2%. So Bitcoin has so much catching up to do. It's been beaten, battered, and bruised. Looks like absolute garbage. But in this pain where we see the max fear that we've seen in years, we're in extreme fear, the likes of which we haven't seen since just every single bottom. Chances are buying right now is probably not going to be that big of a, not that bad of a bet. Doesn't mean we're not going to go lower. But when you see things like this, typically that's when maximum opportunity, or at least maybe not even maximum opportunity, but at least pretty good opportunity or decent opportunity. I would lean more towards like pretty good opportunity exists. Again, nobody knows exactly where it's going to bounce, what the lowest price it'll be is. But sentiment is awful. People are scared. And that's exactly when opportunity has presented itself, at least in the past 8 years that I've been following this market. And that's one thing that I think isn't likely to change, whereas I think the cycles and just how this market trends, especially in terms of time, in terms of like, should we expect the market to peak here or dump to here or versus whatever we know in the past, those things I feel like are already, they have changed. But fear and sentiment and psychology, I don't think those really ever do change. And when everyone's scared and panicking and afraid is all over, I don't know. I just tend to think that that's literally an opportunity. But yeah, also get subscribed. Hit the like on the video if you're interested in. I'm going to be doing live streams every single day, doing videos as well, but live streams every single day as long as I want to. And yeah, I mean, I do. I think I'm like 5 for 5 or 6 for 6, meaning like I started a couple days ago and they're still going. I find them more enjoyable. If you don't have time for an hour live stream, then don't watch it. I'll be posting videos also. But I personally enjoy doing those more lately. And oh, but yeah, as well, if you're interested in buying crypto, you can check out the links below. FEMX, BITUNIX, BYBIT, really good deals and nice sign up bonuses. But yeah, without any further ado,